we have a major financial dent in our plans, and how we go about it is going to be determined by the fact that how do we look at this current project that we have at hand. We have definitely, I think, and let's talk about this in a little detail. By getting Amurim as the manager of this squad, we have signed up for a very ambitious project. Amurim has always been talking about the fact that he wants to build the team which is ready to compete at the highest level. And in
Mm.
doing that, he has stuck to his guns. He has not majorly tweaked from his base system. He has continued on that base system. And that has led to the fact that many of our issues with this squad have become very visible, and which is why we've finished 16th. The fact that this squad is less physical, the fact that the athleticism in this squad is low, all that has come out very, very clearly. And they are not able to compete in the Premier League. And to be able to do that, we need to make a lot of signings in a lot of positions, meaning that it probably will take us a lot of time given the financial debt we have, or we'll have to figure out a way, sell some of the non-performers or sell some of the players who are on high wages quickly and replace them with highly effective low cost players, right?
Yeah, my biggest worry here is that won't suffice. So selling, so we already have outgoings in Rashford, Anthony, Jadon Sancho. These are the players who we expect to depart this season end and bring some money back. Victor Lindelof, Ericsson, Johnny Evans. These will be freeing up the wage bill. I have heard that Tom Heaton will continue because his coaching role is still valued at United. I have a feeling that this won't be enough to start a rebuild as well. So there would definitely be players who've been important to us, but who would be leaving. I'm talking about the likes of Menu. I'm talking about the likes of Garnacho. These noises were there in the last transfer window, but nothing came to fruition.
Yeah.
But we have started, like these rumblings have started.
Yeah. At this point in time, I also wanted to bring in, just because it is gaining a little bit of media traction, is also the question about Bruno. You spoke about Menu Garnacho. Do you think where we are right now will lead us to selling Bruno as well? Somebody like a Bruno as well?
I think it will be our last resort, but you never know with the Ineos. They are aiming for finding a younger profile of players. That being said, Bruno is our best player in the squad.
Absolutely.
He's just turned 30, and if we are to move to the next step, I do believe it will be with the expertise of Bruno in the squad. He has a lot of relationships with the existing squad. He does play. He has versatility in his game. That's what Amorim, uh, considers the most important trait in a player. He can play the number 8, number 10 role. Has a free flowing, and he is the most technical player that we have. I think it will be a very bad idea if we were to let Bruno leave. I think it'll be last resort, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, and I think just to round up that point, I think we spoke about the fact that some of the academy folks in Garnacho Menu might need to leave, uh, given the situation. I think the fact is that we should also look at replacing the likes of Onana, Hoyland as quickly as possible, because uh, we have seen that they are not good enough at this level. I don't think we have time for players to grow as first team players. Probably they can be squad players and grow. So if we can figure out a financially effective way of keeping Rasmus Højlund while getting a top striker in the team, fair enough, do that. Onana, I think I don't see a point in continuing. We have seen him 2 seasons, and when we were chatting up, you spoke about the fact that Omar Barada has had this policy that if players don't prove their worth in 2 seasons, he will cut the losses, send them out, get somebody in. So yeah, I think some of that we could also see happening over this transfer window.
I find that the market will be very soft for players like this, especially Onana. Højlund still has some interest generated from Italy. Uh, Only rumors I've heard about Onana are from Saudi. Don't know how much of that will, be concrete. Of course, there are rumors coming around for Emilio Martinez as well.
Hmm.
linked with us. I don't know how to take these rumors, but of course, these are positions that need improvement. I don't see them as the first positions which will get impacted. Of course, there's a possibility that we will, maybe get a new striker with a reduced role for Poland. But if that reduced role is within United or outside United, it will totally depend on the market, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the other 2 points as well. When we look at United of 2025, I think especially for folks like us who have been supporting the club for close to 20, 22 years or something like that, in our minds, United is still that club which has the biggest pull in the market, equivalent to the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, maybe to some extent Bayern Munich. Today, I think the reality is we don't have the same pull. Whether it is bad enough for us to be, worried about, time will tell. But I definitely think, we are not getting the same kind of sponsors. Obviously, I think in the coming seasons we won't get same number of our matches being telecast on TV. Players will have a issue coming for a team that finished 16th, has no Europe, and probably no sign of Europe in the next couple of seasons, right? So I think this is going to be a major issue. And the challenge there is that I just hope we don't become that club which slips into oblivion. We don't want to be at a stage where we are just becoming a club finishing sometimes mid table, sometimes, 10th, 11th, 12th, selling any good academy player from our squad because, there are better clubs out there. That is the worry I think us as fans have at this stage, right?
Yeah, I completely agree with that one. Which brings us to our next steps. Is Amorim even the right man for the job? If we see there hasn't been any proof whatsoever this season that he is right for the job. He has had breakouts with Layers, Anthony, Rashford, and the management has backed him. That hasn't gone well for him. No games did I feel that we had the tactical superiority, or the plan was super clear. Yes, it will take time. Yes, it will take his players to play well, but you are maybe probably right that a more pragmatic, a more down to earth manager would have had United in a few places above this. I mean, it wouldn't have been this bad. Which begs the question, till when do we back Amorim? It seems to be the case that right now the management is backing Amorim. I do put all my eggs in the one basket that we have. I do back Amorim to do a good job. I do believe there are times in history then that two or three players have been able to change the course of the whole season by themselves. We saw that happen with Robin van Persie. We saw that happen with Bruno. Like these kind of signings, they put a spark in. Like they make themselves, they make the players around them better. They make the club better. So I don't rule that out. But what do you feel about Amarim? What are your feelings about Amarim?
I think the bottom line is that is going to be under severe pressure in the first 3 months in the Premier League. He has to get it right. There is no other way about it. If United are 15th, 16th, 17th come October and November, I think Ineos might just pull the plug. I don't see us taking that chance, taking that risk of us slipping into a relegation battle, getting relegated, or anything, which remotely keeps us near that possibility. Because I think then it is, we are just in a stage where you don't know what it will take for this club to get
So
back.
how many games do you give Amorim for the next season? That 12 games? Series stick we should again.
By October, we should have played like 12, 13 Premier League games, is what my sense is. So if there is sign that the new idea, the approach that Amorim wants to bring in, that is being implemented, plus we are getting results out of it, and then even if we are eighth, ninth, great. I think we know that we are getting better as a team. We will improve. We will win more games. Fine, continue with him. target that sixth spot, which we are targeting to get to the Europa League. But I think if this is just not clicking, I think cut your losses, get a manager who in the short term will fix you to be able to reach seventh, eighth, and from there build on towards it.
Agree.
Cool. So I think lastly, let's talk about, what essentially could happen next. And obviously, there is no linear path that any club has ever taken. We have seen the likes of Newcastle within couple of seasons of the new takeover become a Champions League club, and this will be two seasons in a row where they'll end up in a Champions League position. We have seen Aston Villa do well with management changing and them bringing in Unai Emery as the manager who has changed it. So, but what most likely I see is that we will have a relatively slow rebuild. Uh, so these are the two extremes we are talking about on screen right now. It could be a slow rebuild. It could be major squad overhaul, something akin to what Amrim was able to achieve at Sporting. Although you don't have similar windows very easily, but what it might lead to is us having these periods where we have become a mid-table club for a couple of seasons. We are having that slow rebuild, maybe finishing top 10, then getting into top 8, then probably fighting for a Europa League spot. But it takes us those 3 to 4 transfer windows to build that team, get into that. Or we, you know, as you were talking about, get those 2 or 3 players in who, are cogs in the wheel, who fit perfectly into the system and are able to take us to Europe quickly. What do you think realistically will end up happening?
Yeah, I mean, what you said exactly might happen. I also see United dipping into the academy a bit more in the next few years. We have already seen a lot of players who are brought in at that age and that mold. We saw Sekou Kone, we saw Chido Obi Martin, we saw Aiden Heaven. These signings should have been academy signings, and they did start in the academy, but they were given a fast track to the first team. So we might see a lot of that happening. This will also give the public a buy-in with the team, right? They do feel a bit more connected with the team when there are academy players playing. That I think would be key to us moving ahead, be it a slow rebuild or a major squad overall. What I really would want to see is all the dead weight being moved on very fast. I already talked about this is a problem which has been faced by most of the managers. Mourinho had a lot of Louis van Gaal. Ole had a lot of Mourinho players. Eventually, Eric. Now the team that we are seeing right now is an Eric and Hall system team. I really hope that we are able to move these players quickly. I don't think it will be that easy though. Players like Casemiro, Onana, Hoyland, their value in the market is not that great right now. Uh, I doubt we'll get a lot of money for them, but to have a major cultural rebuild to get his fresh ideas into the squad, this is the first step which I think should happen.
Yeah, yeah. And in Amarim we trust, at least for now. Hopefully Amarim can deliver on that. Amarim can build on to this from here. Hopefully the only way from our from here is up. We don't have to face any similar Premier League seasons, and we can get on to a place where us as fans are enjoying football again, because it has become very difficult to enjoy Manchester United games, to be very honest. I mean, Europa League quarter-final, semi-final were, some hope that we are still delivering good results. Also, we were necessarily not playing great. We were managing to win games at the death, or, there were red cards which were leading us to get through those games. But hopefully, us as fans can enjoy Manchester United games again. That is the hope we all of us have. And yeah, we will see you in the next episode where the season would have been over. We'll talk maybe a little more about how the season went. And till then, thanks for joining us. This has been a fun one for us to record. Hopefully, you like it as well. Give us your thoughts. And as always, this is our perch. Let's knock him off. Until next time, stay united.